Hello everyone. Today we are going to review the movie Between Two Ferns, the movie. So if you've ever seen the show Between Two Ferns, it's this little show, I guess it's on Funny or Die now, that Zach Galifianakis has been doing for the better part of a decade, which is funny because I don't know how any of these people get through making it look like it's an actual serious interview, and him asking these just absolutely outlandish questions and them having to keep a straight face during the entire thing. Now, obviously, in the end credits, it showed bloopers of him asking the questions and them just absolutely losing it with laughing out loud and stuff. So he's actually trying to make these. So this film crew is there, documenting what is supposed to be his life story. So he thinks that his movie is going to make it out onto the big screen, right? And he's asking if it could be in 3D, possibly, and so on and so forth. He's thinking that this movie is going to take off. He's going to make it big with the film crew that he has. So he's kind of making it like a documentary type style, where he's telling them about his life, his work, what he does. His crew members are all being interviewed. It's kind of similar to The Office, but in a movie style, where they go one-on-one with the people after they do a scene sort of thing, and talk to them about everybody else. So it was kind of shot that style. And then obviously the interview scenes between everybody that he interviewed in this movie. And I guess Will Ferrell, now I don't know if this is true or not, but in the movie at least, Will Ferrell is the owner of Funny or Die, and it's his site, and he bases his revenue off of clicks, right? So the more clicks he gets, the more money he can have, and with the more money he has in this movie, he says the more cocaine he can do. So, oh my God, it's just how do you portray yourself, but also absolutely 100% go out of character? It's so hard to describe how they do it, because they are playing themselves in this movie. So he actually has quite a few actors on this movie. Now I'm just going to name the ones that I know. So he has Matthew McConaughey. Who else does he have on this show? So there's so many. I guess Bruce Willis was in this, but I don't remember what scene he was in. Or did he actually have him? He might have been in the very beginning, I guess, if I'm remembering correctly. But I don't remember. I don't remember his scene for whatever reason. I know Keanu Reeves was on there for sure. Obviously, Will Ferrell. He had Chance the Rapper on there. And then his crew was Lauren Lapkus, Ryan Gall, and Giovanni Linho. And they played Carol, Cam, and Boom Boom. Oh, it's so funny. What a name. He also had Adam Scott on the show, John Cho, Jason Schwartzman, Brie Larson. That was probably one of the funnier scenes. He also had David Letterman, Paul Rudd. He actually ends up in one scene meeting Chrissy Teigen, and Chrissy Teigen apparently knows his show. She watches it all the time, and I don't know if they're still together. Not that this really matters because they were during that part, but her and John Legend were together at that point, and she ends up being attracted to Zach and sleeping with him. And then obviously John Legend really wants to get on the show the next day. So that scene was funny. Because you can just tell how uneasy Zach was during that scene. I know obviously none of this actually happened. It's all for the movie, right? But it's just John Legend being yeah, I'm having a great time, aren't you? And then minxes him at the very end when he's leaving the show. They had John Hamm on there, Haley Steinfeld, Tiffany Haddish. There was a couple others that Benedict Cumberbatch, Tessa Thompson, although I don't really know who she was. She was one of the guests. Peter Dinklage, and I think that's about it that I really remember from the show or know very, very well. There was obviously like a huge cast in this movie. It was crazy. So I believe Gaia, played by Rekha Shankar, was the one who, or one of the people who was actually in the, I guess, film crew. I guess Olivia McDara played Amelia and Mo Zaloff played AJ. Yeah, I think they were the three that were the film crew, I do believe. So Zach tells them to never stop filming, always keep filming, regardless of what I say or what I do. So they literally follow him all around the country. When he is interviewing Matthew McConaughey, they have a pipe leak, and it ends up just flooding the whole place. So Will Ferrell says, "You have to give me 10 episodes within 2 weeks." So Zach takes his crew of Carol, Cam, and Boom Boom with him, basically telling them that if they do this deal, they'll get their own network television show, because that's been Zach's dream since he was a child. So they go all around the country looking for people to interview, and it just gets really funny. They end up running out of money at one point, so that's when they went to Peter Dinklage's house and stole all his Fabergé eggs so they could sell them for money just to be able to get to Los Angeles, I believe. I believe that's where they were going. So then they are able to get all 10 episodes throughout the movie, but not without Zach having a couple mental breakdowns and telling them, obviously, what happened, that Will didn't actually pay them up front. He's going to pay them when they get back with the 10 episodes, and they kind of are obviously not very happy about that, but at least he's being honest. And then they crash their car at one point because he's doing something he should never do. One, he checks his phone, and then two, he checks his email on his laptop while the other three are sleeping in the back seat, and almost gets hit by transport, runs the car off the road, and that's when his ferns get ejected from the car and they get run over. And he really cares more about his ferns than anybody else in this movie. You can just tell. It was just so funny. So that's when he says he can't do it anymore. He's never going to make it to Los Angeles, so he just takes his stuff and goes to this bar. Meanwhile, the film crew is somehow still there with him, which is just absolutely hilarious. She's just walking down the road with him, filming him. Yeah, he goes to this bar, and then he sees this little clip of a television show of the show called Don't Give Up. And that's when he realizes that Carol has actually been telling him the whole time never to give up. And so he goes back to them. They end up finding somebody at a gas station that's going to give them a ride to Los Angeles. They get there, they give Will Ferrell the tapes, and he says, "I can't do anything with these. I meant 9 a.m. Japan time." And then he goes, "No, I'm just screwing with you. That's what us celebrities do." So Zach gets his network television show deal. But then when he gets on it, he doesn't act like himself, so his crew's kind of a little worried. And he says, "Yeah, but it turns out people don't want to come on my show to be, like, degraded and so on and so forth. They actually just want to sit there and talk about their lives." And they say, "Yes, but this isn't really you." And they say, "Well, the studio's been rebuilt, and we can go back to our original jobs," which is what the rest of them want to do. And Zach's kind of conflicted. He doesn't really want to give up on his dream, so he goes into the room silently, and then right when you think he's not going to come with them, he automatically just comes out of the studio and says, "Of course I'm going to come back with you guys." So it was just funny that he wasted all that time and all those resources and money to get those 10 more episodes, and then he just ends up giving up on the show in the end anyway. So I just thought that was kind of funny. Now, obviously, the interactions between the celebrities are supposed to be awkward on purpose, and I found some of them were just awkward in general. The scene with David Letterman where they're outside, that seemed like it almost wasn't scripted. It just kind of happened because neither of them knew how to act in that scene. So it was just kind of like you could just feel like it was a little bit awkward for both of them, and I just thought that was funny. And the one thing I will touch on is this movie was just filled with slapstick comedy. So like the scene with Matthew McConaughey where the room floods and then Zach has to break the window open in order to basically just flood the whole building and eject everybody from the building. It was just so funny. And just the questions he asks, like, some of them are not going to repeat, but I don't want to ruin any of the interviews just because I think these jokes are just that good. And Zach just does such a good job of being the awkward person. I don't know how he does it, because he seems like he's like, even when they were doing the blooper reel, he was like, oh my god, like some of these questions, it's just they're just not good, like really like offensive. He's like, I don't know how we're even doing this to some of these people. So like when he was doing the interview, he said, I don't even know how this is a thing right now. It's just so funny for some of these questions. One of the questions he asked Brie Larson at the end that was cut out of the, I guess, final movie was, your parents got divorced when you were 7. Do you think that's your fault? It's just like, oh my god, how does anybody keep a straight face during these interviews? I don't know how. They obviously didn't in those ones, but yeah, it was just making me laugh because I was watching them try not to crack up, and then they end up doing it all the time, and it's just like so much funnier when you're seeing somebody try to hold laughter in, but they can't, no matter what they do. So, yeah, but I would give this movie probably a 7.5 out of 10. I mean, it was funny, but yeah, it is funny. It is funny for sure. I don't know, just what criticisms can I possibly even give this film? I think it just kind of is. That's kind of just the rating I'm feeling of giving it, 7 out of 10. Just because they probably could have actually put some of the jokes in there that they cut out, I suppose. And I mean, the story part of it seemed really weird, because some scenes it felt like a documentary, and then other scenes it felt like an actual movie. So I'm not really sure where they were trying to go with that, whether you were just supposed to imagine the film crew was always there, because I don't think they actually showed them in every scene. Even the scene where he's walking down the road, I'm not really sure where they're supposedly filming him from. And then at the very end of the movie, he finds out they're not even a real film crew, they're just students. So nobody's actually going to see the movie anyway. So he just gets screwed over again by the end of the movie. It's just that would suck for him. But yeah, I mean, I would say overall, chemistry-wise between the actors, I would say that he probably had more chemistry with the people he was interviewing than the people that were in the rest of the movie with him, which is kind of odd. You could just tell there was like a weird tension between some of them. I don't know how else to explain it, but maybe I'm just overanalyzing that part of it, but I thought some of them just might not have actually gotten along on the set. I don't know, I just have that feeling. But anyway, that's it for now. So as always, like, share, subscribe, and comment down below your thoughts on this film if you've seen it. If not, I would say go watch it, because it's going to give you some laughs. But yeah, I can only give it a 7 out of 10 just based on what I just said. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye for now.